We are excited for a very, very productive webinar here this morning. Just really quickly, a little bit about ATS Lab Midwest. I know everybody's here to hear about leXsolar, so we're going to go really quickly through this. The two companies, ATS Midwest, as we're known in Michigan, and Lab Midwest, as we are known in Wisconsin, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Iowa, and Nebraska, together are the largest distributor of STEM and technical education curriculum, equipment, and e-learning in the Midwest. As those of you who know us know, we are incredibly selective about which suppliers we choose to distribute in that geography. We have selected the 17 #1 brands in STEM and technical education. It's really, really hard to get on this list. If you're not #1 in your space, you're not on the list. So we will not distribute a product unless it's the absolute best product. Fortunately, I think for everybody who is on the webinar this morning, leXsolar is on that list. We've been associated with them for now 6 or 7 years. Michael Dietrich, who you're going to hear from in just a minute, is an incredibly knowledgeable presenter in the area of all types of alternative energy, whether it's e-mobility, thermal, wind power, hydropower, smart grid technology, photovoltaics, bioenergy. They have a product for all of those spaces, and as we've come to know them, products that fit really well into every element of education, from K-12 all the way through university and even into the workplace. And so, really broad range of products that Michael is going to share with you this morning. I want to thank everybody for being with us. I know it's a tough time, not just for the U.S., not just for the Midwest, but for the entire globe. Michael is coming to us from Germany, where they are in Europe dealing with the same kind of challenges that we are here in the US. So appreciate everybody taking some time out of what is a crazy, crazy time to learn a little bit more about some great technology for education. With that, I will move the discussion over to Michael Dietrich and Dimitri, and they will spend the remainder of the time with you. Thanks so much, everyone, for being on.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Then thanks a lot, Matt. Thanks a lot, Melissa, for the nice introduction. I'm Michael Dietrich and my colleague, Mr. Dimitri Koshnikovsky. We are proud to present our company, leXsolar, just now. I would like to share now my screen with you. So it is working, Melissa? The screen is sharing?
Yes.
It works just fine.
Okay. So thanks a lot for your time. I'm happy to present now leXsolar in a couple of minutes. For 45 minutes, we would like to give you a short introduction about our product range. Let us start immediately because we have a lot of topics what we want to talk about. Maybe some words before about leXsolar themselves. We are not so young anymore. We are a company was founded in the year 2003, based on a spin-off from the Technical University of Dresden. And since this time, we are established now in a global market as a specialist for new energy topics. Matt talked already about this, and we cover more or less all important new energy topics and neighbor topics like smart grids, electric mobility, and so on. But let us start immediately.
And please don't forget, if you have any questions, you can submit it in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen, and we will answer it after the presentation.
Yes, for any technical questions, please be free. We are ready to answer this. So now it's 4 o'clock in Germany. Okay, I try to be fast. I would like to present just now most of our products for the TVT area. It's in our definition vocational schools, college level, and also basic engineering in the university. And we address departments, of course, for renewable energy, mostly electric engineering, but also automotive air condition, and chemical and environmental engineering. The products already have for student and teacher comprehensive documentation and are based on the actualis curricula what we have not only in German, what we have worldwide, but of course each country have another major topic what they are focused in the new energy topics. Here we see a short overview how you can create a new energy lab what address the different direction like electric engineering department, or with the fuel cell and the biofuel topics, a chemical department. In our minds, we think that renewable energy are really perfect fits for different departments in each engineering institute. So let's start with the first topic, that is the leXsolar PV photovoltaic. In general, we will send you after the presentation, you can take the link of the Prezi from Melissa, and you can read and also all the details for the background information for each technology. What we have just now, not the time to talk about it, but for your, for example, that you know what I mean. We have some nice slide for each technology, like photovoltaic or technology, which kind of technology we have in a photovoltaic for each topic. But just now we only would like talk about the product and the USPs, why these products are nice, and any background information you can check later. So that's the reason why I want to jump to the products themselves. The leXsolar photovoltaic is hands-on experimental system for students. All of our, or most of our products working with 12 voltage, and it's an experimental system. That means that the students are working in groups. In the best case, 2 persons per experimental set, but of course it's also depend of the budget what you have already.
So yeah, it's preferably to work for 2 students per experiment, but however, it's also possible up to 4 students, depending on the experiment and depending on the experimental kit.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Tim. What we want to cover with the leXsolar photovoltaic, we have different modules, not only a photovoltaic system, we have also simulate all industrial components what you have in an industrial system, like a maximum power tracker or an AC/DC inverter, and all the different charge regulators what you need for a real PV system application. Also, we propose a curricula how you can use this photovoltaic system in your own, or how you can integrate in your own activities. That is a curricula for around 20 hours for maybe 1 semester lab course, what you can use our system for your activities. Here is a short introduction for the different components, that it's easy to understand what we want to simulate. I make it in a short way as a solar modules. We have insights, of course, different consumers, potentiometer for modules to have different loads, diode module, what I say, different regulators like a shunt regulator, deep discharge protection system, LED, AV module as currency and voltage measuring system. Most of our products using this kind of base unit with safety sockets, what is normally using in a college area. Capacitor modules, there's regulators, and DC AC inverter or simulator. That's the one, sorry. maximum power point tracker, PWM regulator, and different resistor plugs. Later on, when you have time, you have possibilities. We integrate also 2 or 3 experiments for each system that you can see how it works. You have very simple experiments of series and parallel connection, but let me jump to a more attractive experiment like different components of a solar off-grid system. And let us check. I want to see how the internet connection is working today. And we are lucky. So we see here how we set up step by step a PV system. We're starting with a consumer like our ventilator. Then we add a capacitor to save the energy and integrate a series regulator. And then the last step is to integrate a deep discharge protection module in case of that the capacitor have no electricity anymore. More or less, each system have around 25 to 40 experiments from a basic level up to advanced level. And when you go more in the details of the PV system or any other product, you can see that you can make a lot of products also with the small components, but you can use only big components. Just a moment, I would like to show you. Dimitri, maybe we show later an example of the manual, okay?
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Okay, good. We're coming to the next topic, that is the leXsolar thermal energy system. And we would like talking with this product about the different technology what we have already with thermal energy. Most important topics, of course, warm water collector or heat storage or concentrated solar power, and CSP system is integrated, and a Peltier element already. So different components. I don't want to talk in details, that we jump to the next. Yeah, also an example of an experiment is already integrated. How works the solar thermal collector with water pump, to have an example of the real life. Today I miss a little bit the backgrounds, like yes, the listener like yesterday. It's when some questions coming, Melissa, you send us immediately when any questions coming, right?
Yes, if there are any questions, please submit them in the Q&A. We will answer them at the end of your presentation.
On the end of present. Okay. So we jump to the next topic, that is hydropower. Hydropower is normally a very complicated, or not so complicated, and it's an old technology, but complicated to handle it in a school lesson. And we create a system what it's very easy to handle in any lessons in a school, that you can compare different kind of turbines. Here we see a water turbine, and you can compare also with a cross flow turbine and a water wheel. And we create for this kind of products very easy to use setup system. Just a moment. With an integrated generator, that you can see direct the results when you use the water. We have here the movie, just a moment. There's the 2 girls with plug and play. Here's the to measure the pressure of the water. and can compare the different kinds of water wheels technology. Now we use the Pelton turbine. Dimitri, how was the name of this generator?
It was a cross wheel.
Cross wheel.
Well, cross wheel, yeah, cross wheel.
And that is already designed for a very easy setup for the daily activities in each school, all prepared in one case that you can use also independent of the place or of the lab in your institute, that you don't need to use a big demonstration system to handle this kind of technology. Next topic is the wind energy training system. As I would like jump and don't talk about the details of the different technology. We talk only about the products themselves. The address is the wind energy kit, like the others, also for the electric engineering and renewable engineering, and for basic engineering in the institute. We compare, or we can compare, different kinds of turbines, as vertical and horizontal wind turbines. We can change the blades, the number of blades from 1 to 4, and the angle or rotor blade pitch we can change. Also, we have the possibilities to measure the wind speed and the efficiency of the windmill with an round per minute counter. Also, we integrate a very effective, high effective wind machine. It's a very small tool, but with this wind machine, it is possible to create a concrete number, I think 5 meters per second, and with a very concrete lamination of the wind, that you don't need a big equipment or big wind channels, what is the normal case for this kind of topics. And to compare with other products in the market, when you use a normal ventilator to create any wind, that's mean normally you have a lot of wind in the room, but no concrete wind for your experiment, because it's missing the direction of the wind, like what we create with our laminator.
Well, basically in this kit, as in the previous one, we also followed the historical development of the wind turbines, and so the students can also understand how the changing of the geometry of, for example, the wind turbines or the wind rotor can influence on the efficiency and energy generation.
Yeah, maybe Dimitri, you can comment the experiment. I think you find more words.
So it's basically just a demonstration of our base unit, and as a component, you can see it's our wind generator. It's a base plate for the wind turbine, so which also can be rotated and adjusting it to the and changing the angle relative to the wind direction. Can you just scroll up a bit? So yeah, here is also a demonstration of different rotors. So as you can see, it's just typical plug and play. You can insert the rotors and insert the blades to the rotor and just simply press it and install it into the wind turbine. And then it's an experiment which also demonstrates the influence of different geometry. In this case, it's the changing of the blade angle, or changing also the angle of attack of the blade, so relative to the wind direction. And so the students can also see how it influences on the energy generation. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I go to next topic. So next topic is then very fashionable and actually fuel cell technology. We create in this a product called H2 Professional, what integrate different, at first, different kind of fuel cell technologies, that you not only see how works a PM fuel cell, that you have also possibilities to understand what is an ethanol fuel cell and how works an ethanol fuel cell. You have the possibilities to understand how works an electrolyzer, how you can create a fuel cell stack, because inside the system we have also 3 PM fuel cells to create a fuel cell stack. Integrated is also an H generator to create your own hydrogen in your lab in a quantity what make you not any headache about the safety rules, because we use very small storage of hydrogen with typically 20 milliliters of hydrogen, or how much is inside, you know this?
I think it's 25 liters actually.
25 milliliters, right?
Liters.
Okay. Yes. So it's a very small quantities that you don't need to think about any safety rules, because normally when you have a big hydro generator, you have also think about the safety rules in your laboratory. So just a moment, we don't. Next topic is electric vehicles and electric cars. You don't need to see the movie. So the movie, all of this you can see, of course, later, but when we send you the whole presentation. The main topic of the e-mobility professional is to understand the different kinds of electric batteries. We have around 5-6 different kinds of batteries inside, like lithium polymer accu and lithium iron phosphate battery, capacitor, and also fuel cells. And the main task for the student is to understand what are the advantage and disadvantage of each type of battery, and how you can use, for example, the different batteries in an electric vehicle, and which kind of technology make mostly more sense for electric mobility. For this reason, we have a small car chassis inside, and with this chassis you can use with plug and play the different kind of batteries. Also a specialized charging module is inside. Oh, sorry. That is possible to load each battery with the concrete technical specs what you need, as with the concrete charging module what you need for each different battery, because every type of battery have a special specification. Yeah, Dimitri, question?
Yes, exactly, because some, depending on the battery chemistry, they may require different charging profiles, and this tool, it simulates, and in fact, it's giving the right amount of current and right amount of voltage, so depending on the battery chemistry, the used battery chemistry.
Okay. So we have here different, you can explain, Dimitri, maybe this experiment, the 4-point measurement. We have a bit time, we are good.
Well, we can see.
Yeah, we will see it as well. Yeah.
So yeah, in this case, we will be testing and measuring the internal resistance of the lithium polymer battery. So since it cannot be measured directly, well, it can be measured directly, but however, the result will be quite tricky to analyze, and in fact, it's not always the correct result. So in this case, it's more correctly to measure it indirectly. So by using the so-called 4-point or technique. Oops.
Sorry.
What just happened? Ah, okay. So yeah, we're just measuring voltage of the lithium polymer battery, as well as we're measuring current on the on our AV tool, which you can see as a module which is installed on the right-hand side. And then we also connect the contact wires to another multimeter, and you can see a bit of a difference. So meaning that the charge, so the voltage you can see right now, so 3.73 is a correct one. So, and then by putting these values in a formula, you can find the internal resistance of the lithium polymer battery.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So then I jump to the next product. What is a special product? Because most of our products are based on small hands-on components, but for the electric mobility, we create also a system based on real components. That is the e-mobility instructor. That is the only one product what leXsolar have in a product range where we use real components. And our motivation was to create a product what is brand independent from, like, let us say, Volkswagen or BMW or Tesla, because most of these products don't have any possibilities to make a configuration or manipulation of the motor controller and so on. And that was the reason that we decided to create our own product that the student understand how works e-mobility and the main components of an e-mobility system. It's addressed, how you see, more in the automotive area and electric engineering area. It's give different possibilities for measurings via Bluetooth or PC, but also direct from the interface of the car. And you can also measure the different cells what integrated in the system. And to make a little bit entertainful, I have just now take the movie on. Oh. Melissa, it works a bit, or you have.
Yeah, it looks like it's not loading for us, and I don't think we can hear the sound on it.
Okay. Good.
If you want, we can include a link to this video in the follow-up email everyone will get after the webinar, so they can watch this video on YouTube.
Okay. So you can't see anything, and it was no sound. Yes.
Yeah, there was no sound. It was pretty choppy. We couldn't really see the video, but we'll send a link so everyone can see it.
Okay, then sorry for this, and it's a video already integrated, and they can see later on. No problem. Good, then let us jump to the next topic. That is then just a moment. Is the smart grid. Smart grid is a very tough topic at the moment, also in Germany, because we have at the moment the problem that we need to handle the new energy production of PV power, especially in the summertime, and don't know how to store it. And for this reason, we create a special product. We call it Smart Grid Professional, what is based on the environment of leXsolar components. And here you have the possibilities to create a complete smart grid on a lab scale to understand the different activity, how a smart grid works. And main topic is, of course, how you can compare a conventional grid with a smart grid, or how works a conventional grid based on carbon-based energy, how you can compare it with a convention with a smart grid that is based on new energy sources. And you can see here a short setup how we have a complete smart system with a windmill park in the beginning of a line. We also simulate a conventional power plant with this power module, and then the electricity coming to the different the way to the different power stations and electrical network to the consumer. And the end of the line, we have the households here simulate with two light modules and a ventilator module. Maybe we make this experiment, Dimitri, so that you can check how it works.
So in this case, we also simulate the energy consumption of the household. And so where the energy is produced by the solar cell, and as well is it stored in the so as a hydrogen. So here is a comparison. It's our conventional power plant.
I'll jump a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm. So the main idea is we we can see how much of the energy is also produced by the conventional power plant, how much of the energy is supplied by the solar cell. So whether we have a profit or we have a loss of energy, and if we have an excess of it, so we can also store it in different storage materials like batteries, capacitors, or chemically transmitted and therefore produce a hydrogen. So yeah, it seems that we have an excess of it, and we will transfer it as a chemical energy. So by adjusting the potentiometer to the correct values, so the electrolysis process starts, and we start to generate the hydrogen, which can be later utilized and also recombined to water, and therefore also producing electricity.
Okay, thank you. So more or less, we have with this system around 35 experiments, what is possible to do it with the student. And so, and now we're coming more to the chemical-based experimental system, that is leXsolar biofuel. And in this kind of products, we give the possibilities to understand how you can produce biodiesel, but also how you can produce your own bioethanol. That the student has the imagine for the complete circle from the plant production and makes the ethanol productions and in the industry, and how to can use this ethanols and also in a fuel cell to have your own electricity. You can see this kind of components completely other than the rest of the leXsolar products. It's take a bit time. That's just one time. And the last product is bioenergy. What give an overview about the subjects, how you can produce biomass in a fastest, rapid way, and which kind of illumination you need, which kind of nutrification you need. Second big topic is biomass reduction, like compost production, methane production, or hydrogen production, and how you can use this kind of energy then. This is a product what not possible to use in a 45 or 90 minutes lesson, of course, because you need 2 or 4 weeks around, up to 2 to 4 weeks around that your biomass is growing, and then also sometimes that your compost is ready to use. But for project activities in a high school, it makes sense. And here's again the explanation of each component. And you see all is what is necessary as equipment in the cases, that you don't need to buy anything other, like lamps, like also the nutrification, water, and also the right tools that you can create your own greenhouse. Yeah, example of the compostation. Dimitri, how much time it's need around for the compostation?
It's a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks. Okay. I don't talk about hours. Example how you can use methane. So And that's it. Also, thank you for the moment. I hope you have a lot of questions. I see 8 in my list. Melissa, how it's working? I stop the screen sharing now, and then you will take the.
Yep. Let me just take it over here. Okay, perfect.
Ah,
And
okay.
we do have some questions, so I will read through those. You guys can answer them. Our first
Okay.
question, and if anyone has additional questions, go ahead and pop them in, and we will get to as many as we can in the remaining 18 minutes of our webinar here. First question, how long does a typical experiment or series of experiment activities take? And do some of these require multiple class periods?
Dimitri, you want to answer or?
Well, it depends. As Michael mentioned, so for example, for the bioenergy, some of the experiments are time consuming. In fact, 2 of them are time consuming and may take up to a couple of weeks or even more. However, it's also a benefit because the students can always see the progress of, for example, the cultivation of the agriculture, or also how the composting is done. But most of the experiments take from 15 minutes and up to 1 hour. Roughly.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. The next question is LabVIEW data acquisition possible?
Well, it's a great question. However, so far there is no LabVIEW integration. And I would also like to add a bit more information to the previous question. And multiple classes are not required, and we also provide the complete curriculum, which I'm also going to the next one, it seems like. So yeah, curriculum, it also depends. It depends on the product. So for example, for the photovoltaics, it's roughly 20 hours. But in photovoltaics, there are approximately 40 different experiments. So and if you calculate between 15 minutes and 1 hour for every experiment, so yeah, you can end up with approximately 20. So for the hydro energy, it's a bit less. For the smart grids, it's pretty much the same. It's also around 20 hours. For the wind energy, it's approximately 15 hours. And biofuel, bioenergy they're staying a bit aside. However, for the single experiment in the biofuel, it's also approximately 1.5 to 2 hours. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So long story short, each curriculum is between 10 and 25 hours.
Okay. And perfect. I see another question that I guess we're talking about the curriculum and the experiments. So someone did ask, how does the curriculum deliver learning in connection with the equipment?
Well, our typical manual looks like not just a simple instruction list. It's also provide you with the theoretical part, and
Okay.
integration of the theoretical part and experimental part. That's what makes it a curriculum.
How much time do you think would be spent on the theory before the experiment?
Michael, do you want
Yeah,
to answer?
yeah. Depend of the topic. For some, maybe I can share the screen immediately.
Yep,
That
sure.
yeah, okay, sorry. So, and you can see our screen just now, as we offer for each experiment system manuals. For example, that is PV Professional, and we don't offer any hard copies anymore, but we have for the students and for the teachers separate manuals. For the teacher is then not only the instruction how to set up the system. For the teacher is then also a complete manual with background information, how to handle the system, explanation for each component, safety rules, and so on. And then Also, for example, here some example for power connection of ohmic resistance. You have also results including and evaluation of the experiment to answer any possible questions of the student, or for your own activities, you know what are the backgrounds of the experiments. And that was of course the basic level. And when I go forward to the more like characteristic of an MPP tracker, then of course with much more information how you use and what can be mistake management and so on when you use MPP tracker.
Yeah, so for every experiments beside here is also provided a set of tasks, so the students can evaluate them and answer them, and teachers can also grade as a result.
So,
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for showing us that. Now, are there different types of kits for different age groups?
Dimitri, maybe I answer. Yeah, sure. We concentrate today for the products for the college areas. That means 16 years plus. But we have, of course, also special school products, and also for primary schools and junior high school. It's also possible to use it. They are then more simple and more action-based experiments and have, of course, also another price. But maybe for a concrete product quotation, then your customer asks you later, that we not lose too much time.
Okay. Let me see what other questions we have. Can you give us, are there any maybe examples of some schools and universities that are currently using leXsolar? Any, ones that you would like to share?
That's a good question. We have 60 partners around the world. In America, to be honest, not so much. So we know us since a long time, but of course, new energy was maybe 15 years ago a very important topic. But then other topics was more fashionable. But now, since 2 years, we're starting again with nice feedbacks for our products from America, also thanks to you. In Germany, yeah, and most we have around maybe 500 customers. That is Technical University, for example, in Dresden for sure. The HTW in Dresden is a special university in the automotive business. You see, the professor is one example. Germany make around 30% of our turnover, or 40%. 60% of our products are around the world, with East Europe and Asian market as one cluster markets. Also I have just now not a concrete university what we present already, because it is a lot and we working with partners like you, and then it is not as we don't get each time a reference for each customer what we catch, but I can tell you it is a lot, because we are successful since 18 years in our business.
Absolutely, wonderful.
Thank you.
I don't see any other questions coming through. I think this was extremely helpful for our customers to see all of the different, not just the different subject areas and even the new and upcoming ones with the bioenergy and the biofuel and e-mobility, but just
sorry,
all of
Melissa?
the hands-on experience. Do you have anything else that you want to add before we wrap up?
Well, I'm sorry, there was one unanswered question from Renate.
Sure.
So it was about whether is everything needed to complete the experiment is included in the kit. So yeah, and it's also related to the previous question, so which was about the different age group. Because we also provide several product lines, and our two top lines, which are professional and ready to go, they complete everything you may need and even more. in this case, so that you can set up all of the experiments in the lab. You don't need any additional equipment, so that everything is provided. Our basic lines, which are designed for lower levels and basically for the primary, secondary school, they may need some additional components.
For example, I'm already in or not? Yeah.
Yes.
You can see the screen of me because of this. Yes. Okay. As you see here, for example, the wind technology as a topic of our wind products with the wind professional for the school or high school or college and vocational school. All necessary components are inside. You don't need any additional equipment. All power supplies, all measuring tools, all cables are inside, but we designed the same for ready to go for sure. That is a more simple kit with more action-based experiments. It's usable for junior and high school, and that's the large product that is inside of plastic boxes. That is a type of product designed for the German high school, where most of the lab, of course, equipped with any measuring instruments or power supplies. And with our 4mm sockets, it's also easy to integrate any other products in the markets, like data lockers. I don't know what you have in range, Melissa, that I don't use the wrong brand name. As that means it's very easy to connect with any locking manufacturer in the market. Of course, we will be happy when you decide to use our products, like our AV module or our power module, what is optimized for our products. Yeah, it's answer. Yeah.
So one question on that. So you have, I think we're in wind, and there was the professional kit and there was the large kit, the different sizes. Are those different sizes available for all of the different subject areas?
Sorry, I was, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Sure. Could you go back one page on your web browser to where it shows the different size kits for the wind?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So these, the ready to go and the large and basic, are these available for all of the different subject areas?
Different ages. As for example, basic kit is a system that is really more for the junior high school level, and it's a bit complicated for the setup because it is not working alone. You need additional product, like you need a kit basic. What it's kit basic, for example, is then the base unit and power supply and a potentiometer. What you need to make any experiments, and here it's only the wind components like wind machine and wind plates, etc. It's make, in my opinion, not so much sense. Also, of course, the storage, like a paper box, is not a long life storage packing. Wind large, then more in a high school level. From let's say maybe 12 to 16, 17 for physics lesson, and then the ready to go is flexible, using for any age from maybe 10 to 18 years, and then a professional level, also for youth people from 16 plus up to end, also
great
for adult training. Yeah.
Thank you. We do have one more question that came through. Are there any companies or industry partners that support your curriculum?
Dimitri, maybe I answer, because it is also a question of our history. Yes, for sure. leXsolar is great as like the name already say, our first technology was photovoltaic, and we working with all the major brands what exist 15 years ago in Germany. So maybe you know SolarWatt or Q-Cells or Bosch Solar. So many major company.
Shunt.
Shunt, yeah, Shunt, of course. Shunt was also in America, very famous. But the German solar industry collapsed 8 years ago because of the competition from our friends from China. And then we have not so much activities with the PV industry, but we have in Germany a very a good connectioning to the major players in the energy business. Like we have 4 big players. Maybe you have heard about Innogy. It's a big energy player, and they help us, of course, to give a technical background to make the real problem, for example, how to handle the management in the summertime when the PV plants in Germany produce so much electricity, how to handle this and how we can integrate this kind of questions in our lab courses and in our equipment. And the same with the electric mobility systems. We are very close, maybe you know, in Germany or in our hometown, in our home province. Saxony is electric mobility hub of the German industry for electric cars, with Volkswagen produced here in our hometown Dresden her first electric car. Also BMW produced not far from us the E3 family with E3 and E8. No, correct?
Yeah, it's i3 and i8.
I3 and i8. And that's me. And with our concrete partner, also the HTW Dresden, we have a concrete theoretical partner for the curriculum. And with the industry is a partner who also advise us which kind of topics are interesting for them for the training and for us the training kids.
And may I add just one more phrase? So, and besides industry partners, we also cooperate a lot with different universities for our didactic materials.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks like those are all the questions that came through, and we're at about our hour limit. I really appreciate you taking the time to go over this with all of our customers. I know this will be a huge help for them as they explore alternative and new energy options for their classroom. Again, thanks so much for taking the time, everyone. We will be sending out a recording of the webinar and some helpful links for you to explore leXsolar further.
Thanks a lot that we have the possibility to present us. Only the question for the link. You have already the link for the presentation, Melissa, as you don't need any background information from us. You have already all to give your customer the connection link for the Prezi presentation, right?
Yes, yes, I have that. Yep.
Okay, then thank you very much, and I hope we can welcome you soon, all of us as customer of leXsolar and Lab Midwest, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.